Bitcoin is known to be the most famous cryptocurrency that enables peer-to-peer transactions without intermediaries like banks or governments. It operates on a public database called a blockchain that records all transactions transparently and securely. The mining process is a rewards-based system in which mining nodes, i.e. specialized computers on the network, compete to solve an algorithmic puzzle. The node that solves the puzzle first assembles the next block and earns a block reward paid in Bitcoin. It's important to note that each transaction on blockchain takes an average time between 10 and 60 minutes. It's estimated that mining of each Bitcoin requires an average power of 1,215 kilowatt hours, which is equivalent to the power consumption of an average U.S. household over 42 days. There's a maximum of 21 million Bitcoins around the world. It is said that Satoshi Nakamoto is the inventor of Bitcoin, yet this has proven to be a fictitious personality. This is why some relate this invention to strong, mysterious mafia. Countries around the world, with exception of El Salvador, tend not to embrace Bitcoin because it's the perfect environment for money transfer between drug dealers and criminals. Many financial experts have described Bitcoin as a scam like Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett.
Now, if you told me you owned all of the Bitcoin in the world and you offered it to me for $25, I wouldn't take it because what would I do with it?
In my life, I try and avoid things that are stupid and evil and make me look bad in comparison with somebody else. And Bitcoin does all three.
Let's listen to what Donald Trump said in year 2021.
My opinion is that with the currency of this world should be the dollar. And I don't think we should have all of the Bitcoins of the world out there. Something that takes the edge off of the dollar and the importance of the dollar.
Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam. I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar.
But in 2024, Donald Trump changed his strategy 180 degrees.
In just 15 years, Bitcoin has gone from merely an idea posted anonymously on an internet message board to being the 9th most valuable asset anywhere in the world. Can you believe that? Is that right? And one day it probably will overtake gold.
How to explain this major transformation in the decision of Donald Trump? Why would the United States, the centralized financial power of the world, embrace a decentralized cryptocurrency like Bitcoin? Despite Bitcoin's volatility, speculative nature, long transaction time, low consumer protection against fraud, complex regulatory requirements, and the enormous power consumption needed to keep it operational, the United States has shown interest in it. For the record, the energy used to operate Bitcoin has increased from 36 terawatt hours in 2018 to 175 terawatt hours in 2025, which is comparable to the energy consumption of a country like Poland. Most economic arguments for Bitcoin, such as boosting economic leadership for U.S., reducing tariffs, decentralizing currency, regulating the crypto market, and hedging against inflation, seem unconvincing. Similarly, the claimed personal reasons, like the Trump campaign receiving more than $200 million via crypto, or issuing a new cryptocurrency meme coin, also seem insufficient. In my opinion, there are two logical explanations. The first and most important reason for the USA to embrace Bitcoin is an attempt to fuel government changes worldwide. The USA already uses 4 main tools: financial sanctions, artificial intelligence, social media, and satellite internet, Starlink. Bitcoin will be the 5th element in this pentagon of change. Money is a critical source for funding media streams within countries, organizing protests, acquiring resources, producing anti-regime propaganda, influencing voters, and magnifying the weaknesses of the existing regime. Countries like Iran, already suffering from U.S. sanctions, turn to cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin to conduct illegal financial transactions. Since they can use Bitcoin, it becomes easier for the USA to fund movements and activists within Iran. While such financial activities can be tracked by the Iranian government, for the regime has strong control over the internet, the USA, however, can bypass this tight monitoring by using Starlink. This requires few equipment to be smuggled into the country. Social media plays a significant role in shifting public opinion. Artificial intelligence can complement this by understanding public sentiments and opinions, as well as developing advanced encrypted communications. While this process might be feasible in Iran, it's much more complex in a country like China, where crypto is banned, and where there is strong control over borders and advanced surveillance systems. Embracing Bitcoin in the USA and trying to influence changes in China is possible, yet it could become a double-edged sword. China could use Bitcoin against the USA to influence propaganda, especially as the USA faces internal divisions. In this scenario, Bitcoin could become the Trojan horse of the 21st century. The USA may also use Bitcoin to influence changes in countries that are not traditional adversaries, such as Greenland, Canada, Panama, and Mexico, especially since USA could officially avoid bearing any responsibility for those actions. It can create a shadow government in certain cases, or take control of certain important assets or resources. There are already several examples of Bitcoin being used to support protesters in countries, with Hong Kong, Belarus, and Ukraine being prominent cases. The second potential reason for the USA to embrace Bitcoin is financial and driven by the wealthiest corporations in the country. The objective of these tycoons is to make more money even at the expense of the American public. Despite having the largest economy in the world, and the whole of humanity depends on this economy, the USA faces significant financial challenges. The yearly deficit is exceeding $1 trillion yearly since 2018, and although the new government has initiated efforts to increase efficiency, I personally doubt any major progress in this regard, for this subject will be a conflict between powers in the US. The national debt continues to rise each year, and debt interest rates are reaching new highs. While the government has large plans to increase US power, and they can do that by increasing spending across various fronts, Bitcoin could potentially serve as a savior for the debt. Bitcoin trading is the perfect environment for a financial superpower like the USA to control the Bitcoin currency and use its volatility to its advantage by trying to control the market speculations and making profit from this trade.
Who knows, maybe we'll pay off our $35 trillion, hand him a little crypto check, right? We'll hand him a little Bitcoin and wipe out our $35 trillion.
If the USA aims to make profit from trading Bitcoin, we should expect a rise in the value of Bitcoin to new levels. While trading with Bitcoin is going to be beneficial only for the country and the top companies, public across the globe are going to pay the price for this trade, because eventually it may reach a stage where this bubble will burst, like the tulip burst in the year 1637. Back then in the Dutch Empire, the price of a single tulip reached the equivalent of $25,000, only for the bubble to burst shortly after, returning the price to normal. What really worries me is that the common people are the ones who are going to suffer from any burst, and since the amount of loss will be enormous, so many people's wealth will be deeply affected and may result in unprecedented riots and destructions. Ultimately, the only fact is that Bitcoin's future will depend on how governments, institutions, and the market adapt to its challenges and opportunities. It's more convenient for the USA to adopt USDC as cryptocurrency and not Bitcoin. The cons against Bitcoin far outweigh the pros, and Bitcoin is currently supported by the wealthiest people and the most powerful government. Whether Bitcoin is the soft invasion tool, the tulip of the next decade, or the Trojan horse of this century, only time will tell.